It's a good day. It's a good day. YouTube, what is going on? We are back with another Wuthering Waves video. What are we playing? Wuthering Waves. And, well, we just got new Battle Pass weapons that were confirmed. So I wanted to go over these, break these down, who they're good for, who they're not good for, and just kind of give my own thoughts, right? So let's get right into it. I haven't really looked at this yet, but I do have a cushion pulled up so that way I can look at other characters if we need to reference anything. So Hunter's Growl, Post Lament, weapons. Now, I will say I like the gauntlet design. I like the rectifier design. I like the glizzy design, actually. These two, I think, are hideous, though. I think these two weapons look like absolute dog, but whatever. That's besides the point. Um, I'm hoping that they're better and more effective than the last Battle Pass weapons. Even with the last Battle Pass weapons, like the only good one I think was Autumn Trace, I believe is what it was called, because it gave some crit value. So looking for some crit values here and just decent stats, right? But yeah, let's see what's happening here. Let's get right into it. This is going to be the sword. Now, full transparency, before we even see what's going on with the sword, let's just be honest. You get Emerald of Genesis for free, and Emerald of Genesis provides so much value. I mean, it's actually kind of insane how much value Emerald of Genesis provides due to the fact that it's going to give you a high attack volume, as well as the crit rate, energy. So, off rip, I don't know what this is giving, but realistically speaking, if you were going to like go for a weapon, it probably wouldn't even be this. So let's see though. Let's see. So it's the sword and 412 attack, which is on the lower side. So these are all going to have roughly 412 attack and crit rate plus 20. I'm happy to see some crit value here. I think that is a positive. And it says casting Resonance Liberation increases attack by 7.2, going up to 23% at R5, and grants a 10.8%, capping at 34.5 Resonance Liberation damage. Now, this is not necessarily a bad weapon, to be very transparent with you. I just don't know if I see this outclassing Emerald of Genesis, right? Let's say you put this on your Chang Li. Now, yes, you are getting a 10% buff to your Resonance Liberation, but you're also missing out on some attack here, right? So I guess we'll have to do a little bit of further testing. I would very curious to see how an R5 version of this weapon would perform against an Emerald. But to me, if you were trying to pull this weapon for R5 instead of just going for Emerald or like the signature of whatever sword you need, like a Blazing Brilliance or whatnot, at that point, you know what are we doing, right? So again, this and the gun are probably going to be two of the weapons that would probably be a skip, right? So we have the broad blade. Let's see, Autumn Trace was it was all right. Sometimes good, sometimes shit. So I don't know how to pronounce this. Orate Zeneth. I don't know what that means. So 40 crit damage. 40 crit damage is great. Like 40 crit damage is actually pretty solid here. Again, the attack being 412 compared to a 588 attack. That is a definite decrease from a 5-star weapon, but these are not going to be 5-star weapons quality, right? But so 40.5% crit damage off rip is just a really decent stat stick, right? So this is casting Resonance Liberation, increases attack by 7.2% and grants 10.8% heavy attack damage bonus. Okay, so this would go for someone like a Gion, an Augusta. I mean, like, maybe you could throw it on Calchero, I guess, you know, if you're still using Calchero. But this doesn't really seem like a bad option. You could use it for a stat stick if you don't have anything for Jinsei. Again, you're looking at low attack value, so you're going to have to make sure you make up for your attack with your Echoes. But this is not bad. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like an option that if Autumn Trace is performing good now, this seems better than Autumn Trace, so this should be okay, right? I'm not going into these expecting the best pinnacle things of all time, but these are pretty valid. So far, we're good. So far, we're good. Sword's kind of whatever. Go fuck yourself. But this is valid. So here we go with the Glizzy. Again, you know, I'm going to pull up the Static Mist here real quick just to have that in comparison. So we have a 20% crit rate 412 attack, and this is going to give, dealing basic attack or heavy attack is going to give the heavy attack damage bonus. Now, I don't think anyone currently uses heavy attack damage pistols. Like, no one actually ADSs. So unless they put something in someone's kit specifically that it triggers as heavy attack damage bonus, or maybe you actually have to ADS with, like, let's say Galbarina or something, which I actually think would be pretty cool. That's very interesting. Now, again, you look at a static miss of 588 attack, has 4% more crit rate, increases energy regen by 12.8. Incoming Resonator's attack is increased by 10%. The only way that they're making static miss not work for a character is if they're like going to be an HP scaling like a Cartethia, how like Emerald of Genesis isn't the greatest thing for them, or if they don't need ER like how Falova does, but I don't see that happening, right, for Galbarino. So interesting stuff here. This really seems like it's not going to benefit anyone at this moment. And again, you have static miss there, so it's kind of whatever. It would just be its stat stick. But even at that point, I would look to maybe get Carlotta's weapon or something else. That'd probably be better. So, okay. Again, very interesting. Very interesting stuff here. We have the gauntlets. Okay. So the gauntlets are 40% crit damage. Love to see that with resonance liberation damage. Boys, my man Zhang Liao, son. He's getting a little bit of a buff here. I think this is solid. I think this is good. You know what I mean? I don't know if anyone else uses Resonance Liberation Gauntlets at the moment. Yeah, I don't think, unless maybe Yuno does, and I'm just misremembering. But I think this is fine. I think this is a pretty solid alternative, especially for Zhang Liao. But at the same time, he does have Stenard readily available. So again, a little bit of a situation where I'm curious to see how is something like a Stenard going to match up against this. If I look at Stenard right now, where is it? We have Stenard here giving 20% crit rate, 413 attack. And it says casting resonance skill increases the liberation damage by 18%. When you R5 it, the resonance liberation damage goes up to 54% actually. So it goes up to 54%. And this one is only giving a 34% resonance liberation damage increase, but you're getting 40% crit damage. So it is a trade-off. Again, we would have to do testing, and now obviously testing something like this is going to take 5 months unless they update the Battle Pass boxes. Then maybe we won't have to wait that long. I hope they update the Battle Pass boxes. I fucking pray to God, because I have like 5 of them. But very interesting stuff here. Something tells me I wouldn't be surprised if Stenard still edges this out if you have it R5. Realistically speaking, I think that 54% is going to be more valuable than the crit damage because you have characters like Shorekeeper, and realistically, if you just have good echoes, you're fine. So interesting stuff. Again, probably won't be the most useful thing in the world, but it is what it is. It's a good option to have, right? And again, a stat stick for if you need it for someone else, right? Other than Roshia, she needs crit rate. And then we have the Rectifier here being 40% crit damage as well. Casting Resonance skill, increased attack by 9, and grants basic attack damage by 28%, maxing to 28%, but grants 9% basic attack damage. Well, this could be used for Cantarella, Encore. Again, the stat stick here. I'm just trying to, what other 4-star rectifiers do we have? Do we have any good ones? What was Augment? I think Augment was crit rate. Casting Resonance Liberation increases attack wielder by 15%. Okay. I could see this getting some use for sure. Again, with like an Encore or a Cantarella if you don't have the signature. But like, again, this is kind of a situation where a lot of people do have String Master. So it's like, these are solid options. I don't think there's anything here that's going to be a concrete replacement, especially over a 5-star signature weapon. I could see people using maybe these over some standard weapons, excluding Emerald of Genesis and Static Mist. But listen, man, I'm happy that they're trying to bring more impactful weapons to the game, right? Where it is crit rate, crit damage values. That is massive. I think it would be a massive L, though, if they don't add these to the boxes. If these are not added to the boxes, then that's a fucking massive fumble because there's no reason to not add these to the boxes, right? Don't fucking make it so that way people have to go through the whole process of waiting 5 months just to get one R5 weapon. I think that'd be a little silly. But overall, interesting stuff. I'm satisfied, and I'm actually excited to just test people's kits with this and see how this goes. So, with that being said, I love you. Mwah. I'll see you in the next one.